clean as it's going to get. Went ahead and soaked it, I believe 3 times. Soaked it in some Cascade dish soap, flushed it, and repeated, I believe 3 times to get it pretty darn clean coming out, as clean as it's going to get, without just, you know, replacing the radiator. So we're going to run that. It definitely flows, so that's the main thing. I'm not sure, where does this thing install? Way back there, okay. Yep, 5/16 it is. So it looks like we got 6 5/16 bolts that hold that on there. Success. We got our rad all mounted back in there on the most rearward bolts, both sides. I did end up putting a nut as well as another lock washer on the inside, just because the rusty threads on actually this side decided to pull out as soon as I put the tiniest bit of torque on it. So we decided to nut and bolt those rearward ones, just, you know, for symmetrical purposes, because, you know, the guy may be slightly anal about shit like that. But we're gonna go ahead and get some rad hoses made up. That's one thing that I noticed on the SA250s. It doesn't seem as though they have the aftermarket support that the SA200s have with the Continental engines. Those I could find rad hoses all day. SA250s, no such luck. I actually could not find the lower or the upper, and am resorting to making some universal ones, which kind of suck and they look ugly, but they'll work. And that's every hose on this machine. Actually, I replaced every single rubber hose, right? All of it was not designed for this machine, but I just found things to work. So, I mean, pretty basic for the bypass there. I believe that was 1 inch, just bulk hose. Actually, I have a thing of it. What does that say? 10 feet of 1 inch. Yep. So that's just 1 inch for the bypass. This, I want to say, was 2 or 2 1/4 90-degree elbow that I had just out of some scrap hose sections laying around. And then as far as our road draft tube, I don't know what size that is. I want to say that's 5/8, maybe it's 3/4. I'm sure it says on it, but I can't make it out, so whatever. Let's get some rad hoses plumbed in and be done tying the whole cooling system back together. September 6th today, and we are getting a decent storm. Had some lightning. I was hoping I could get a lightning bolt on video. That'd be cool. Just cold ass rain at the moment. Feels freaking amazing. Oh, she's getting fucking rowdy. Damn, that one sucked. That was a pain in the ass. We got the lower one done. I'll probably do a little more filming on the upper one to show you how they're done, but that lower one, too tight, couldn't even get a good camera angle. Just a pain in the ass the entire time. So it's on there, and you could see the clearance could not be any tighter. There is very little room for deflection in that belt. So we'll see how that ends up. May end up shredding the belt. Hopefully not, but it's what we got, so that's what we're going to use. So this was actually the big piece I had left over from doing the lower hose. And without even using the other hose that I have, we have enough to complete the upper. So this one's a super tight radius, so it's going to have to go up and then back down slightly like that. Such a tight radius, I actually crammed a screwdriver in this end to get it to start that bend as quickly as possible. So I kind of messed up the bottom piece of that, so I'll cut that last one out. And then on this end, we're going to go ahead and mark it for length to know where to cut. And I'm actually going to cut, I'm thinking right here. That'll go just like that. That's got our length right. So now on this one, we'll tighten down our inner clamp. So that'll get us where we need to be depth-wise there. So now on this end, we're going to take rather than using the whole sleeve, we're going to use just the biggest piece of rubber in this one. And we're going to end up shortening it actually and cutting it down. I'm actually going to look from that old one. I don't think it's going to be long enough. Say from the piece I cut off the old one, making the lower hose, I should say. Thinking maybe that one was long enough. It's not. So we'll just do this. We'll separate these. Take those pieces out. And then on this guy, we're just going to slide that directly on there. But obviously we are not going to be able to use all that. So we're going to get this thing cut. Get an idea of how much we really need. Probably about half of it. A little less maybe. And cut that, we'll slide that in there. It's going to be the hot ticket right there. This side's absolutely gonna be a socket and ratchet. Not perfect, but it's better than it was. That'll work. So I went ahead and removed the tank and dumped this, quart of evaporust down in there. And then went ahead and threw a bunch of nuts and bolts and washers down in there. From here we're going to strap it to one of the wheels on the little tractor and go for a drive down the road. Success. Let's ride. So I drained out the evaporust and now I'm trying to flush with water. Some nasty stuff. We're gonna just let the water run on it for a bit. I ended up getting a little further on this. Got gauges all wired in. I ended up replacing the temp and the oil pressure gauge, both with Equus gauges. Look pretty sassy and very similar to the ammeter. So had a hell of a time deciphering which schematic to use. There's so many of them out there, and none of them are actually exactly what I got going on, but I did find one on, I think it's BW Parts, their website, that is for a 250 with a constant voltage switch. It was very, very similar to how this thing was wired, but not exactly the same. So we're going to hope that I have my powers and grounds right, because it's not like the old gauges are, you know, labeled sending unit or power and ground, which is stupid, but that's how it was. So we got that all figured out and situated, I believe. In the process of removing the faceplate to repaint it, I managed to break the fine adjustment rheostat to pieces trying to get the knob off. That's an available part. It's another $110 towards this machine. Terrific. I don't want to wait for that to show up. I want to fire this thing up today. So at this point, what we've done with the tank, trying to remove all that rust, not feasible. It's just too scaly and too far gone, unfortunately. So we're going to actually just set a tank of diesel up here in a jerry can and run our supply in return right into that jerry can. I do have a buddy that's going to end up making a nice aluminum tank for it. But this is just to fire that motor for the first time, to actually hear it run. Did end up getting a sassy pants little air filter for it. We deleted on the factory setup because, you know, the pieces we were missing and the astronomical price on that. I want to say that was like $350 on the Evil Bay. So we went with our $27 whatever from Amazon filter. So at this point I have oil to put in the motor yet, as well as coolant. And then we're just going to hook up our jumper box to the battery leads, because we also do not have a battery currently. And I think this thing should fire even with that rheostat broken. I don't think that's going to matter. We're not going to weld with it. We're just going to fire the motor and set the idle control to high idle, which is already on. And just let this thing run for a bit. So according to AI, This engine should take 6.5 quarts. We'll see about that. Found our first problem. We're leaking out of the bottom tank on the rad. Oddly enough, when I first got this thing here and fired it up and ran it all blown up, the radiator didn't leak and it had water in it. Once you know it, a guy touches it and now it leaks. So guess we're going to be taking that back apart to get rebuilt. However, that's not going to slow us down today. We don't need water in it to fire it, so carrying on. I'm going to go ahead and crack all these injector lines and get some paper towels next to them so I'm not pissing diesel all over my fresh paint. Pump it. So the supply is a 3/8 barb at the lift pump. So I got some 3/8 line. Our return is 1/4 inch, so I got some 1/4 inch line. I hate cutting line for temporary fuel systems and wasting the hose. However, I'm going to need these rubber hoses when I have my aluminum tank in here anyway. So I'll cut them extra long so we can plumb them to our jerry can and just shorten them up after the permanent tank is in here. That way I'm not really wasting a whole lot, because this shit is expensive. And being that my jerry can has a good amount of, looks like algae growth, I just treated the fuel though, so don't worry, it's okay. But being that that's in there, I don't want to suck that into my brand new filter. So we're going to use a El Cheapo on our inlet to filter any of that junk out, any of the bigger dead particles. Because that algae, I have to look at the product they use. It's freaking expensive as shit, but it'll kill that algae right away. Pretty impressive, and it only takes a tiny, tiny bit. But they don't give that crap away either. But even the fuel that was in the transfer tank, that was pretty much the bottom of the tank, and yeah, it didn't look super happy. So we'll do the right thing and give her a little snake oil. All right, we are officially plumbed in. Just have big line 3/8 line down in the fuel, and our return just dirty dangling in that filler neck. Simple enough. Let's prime this bitch. Step one, let's see it pull through that little filter. Oh, there it is. There we go. Okay, so we got fuel there. Let's see if we can't get the sediment bowl on the engine's fuel filter filled. There we go. So, got that filled up. Now, this line right here, I have cracked. Unfortunately, I can't see it while I'm priming, so go ahead and let me know when it gets fuel, huh? I'm fighting air. I'm gonna have to. This guy right here, right out of your view. This is a bleeder. I'm gonna crack that guy loose. Ooh. Uh-oh. We're not tight there. Damn it. Sure feels tight. We got all kinds of air leaks in there. Jesus. Alright. Stand by. So I'm looking at this. The gaskets aren't rolled or anything anywhere around it. I do not recall how this thing actually tightens down exactly. I know this would tighten up the bowl against the bottom half of that filter, which I have a leak there, but not like I do up here. It's puking up there. So, fortunately, now that it's full of fuel, I'm going to make a huge mess. I'm going to have to drain that. I'm actually going to pull that out of the fuel so we don't have a siphon. Lovely. It's not even going to make it in the pan, is it? I'm going to have to do something different. Let me go get a can or something like that. I'm getting crafty. Got a transmission funnel under it now. Oh, lovely. Yep, that's just going to make a mess, is all it's going to do. That's about right. Yeah. Jesus. Oh, idiot. Helps if I take the rag out of the funnel too. Some friggin' times, dude. I am making all of the mess right now. Good thing I capped that dipstick tube, huh? So I'd be getting diesel in my freshly changed oil. All we're doing is shining the paint up anyhow, right? Let's try this, taking this bowl off and see how it goes. Probably not great, but we're gonna try it anyhow. Well, how does this go on there, guy? Is it that thing, this deal? Was that what actually tightens the whole shebang dealy? It might be, huh? And I didn't need to pull the drain out that I just pulled like a friggin' idiot. Story of my life. Let me grab some channel locks. We'll try to tighten that. Oh! Hello. Gasket just blew right out of there. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh. Almost got me right in the face. Almost got, or did it get you? Got you a little bit. You know how I know a guy's stunned? That bolt is the fucking retainer for this bullshit. I just unscrewed that like an idiot. And this fucking O-ring, the dumbest bullshit. I swear. Way to shit the bed on this thing. Dumb. See, and it popping out the back, like trying to get this stupid thing lined up. All while you're taking a diesel bath. Dumb. Even trying to put this on when the motor was on the stand, I was struggling. That's why doing this on the machine, freaking joke. So note to self, do not crack that loose. You'll have a bad time. Alright, well, after being slightly stunned there for a bit, head fuel to the pump now. So we'll go ahead and tighten that one up. Now I just got to get it up to the injectors. Beautiful. Take that off and get our dipstick back in there. We'll go ahead and crank it for a bit, see if we can build some oil pressure. Pump is still off, so we shouldn't have fuel in the injectors. Got oil pressure. I believe that's on the pump. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you pull the lever out. I don't know. Let's try it with it out. Nope, nothing up there yet. Sometimes. Might have to crack something on the pump. Well, the struggle's been real on this one. It's probably been at least an hour, maybe 2, of me trying to even get fuel to the injectors. Finally I said the hell with it and gave her a little snort of ether and just kind of bottle fed her till that pump got spinning fast enough to actually pump fuel up to those injectors. As it would turn out, I'd probably be here all damn night trying to spin it with the starter. The starter was getting hot, and no such luck. I don't think it spins the pump fast enough when, you know, you're full of air. So gave her a snort of ether, kicked off with that. Had to do that a few times off camera because I was pretty pissed off by that point, thinking that the plungers in my it's a Cav rotary, and I figured those plungers probably gummed up and got stuck in their bores while this pump sat over the last 2 years because there wasn't fuel in it. Luckily, getting it spinning fast enough off the ether, it started to pump, so those plungers freed up, got it bled, and drum roll please. She's a fucking unit. Being that I'm extremely low on water, I put a gallon of water in it right before I kicked it right there, but I don't want to run it with the cooling system how it is. As you can see, she's a runner. About damn time. Do appreciate you guys watching. I know this has been a pretty long drawn out process. I did tell you in the last video that in this video it would absolutely run. You've seen that at this point. I may do a final video. This was supposed to be the final video, but there's so many odds and ends at this point that I may do a final video just showing the whole thing complete. A nice quick deal. Probably won't film it. I mean, it's what body panels I gotta do a little body work on, straighten them out, get those painted. I gotta get a new fine adjustment rheostat and install that, and I'm gonna have to pull that radiator back off and get it shipped out and repaired or replace it, I guess, depending on which one's cheaper. I got a place here local that repairs them, so I'm gonna imagine that's probably the cheaper option. And then yeah, at this point, now that we've run it, I'll get going on getting some dimensions and some drawings drawn up for my buddy and have him make a tank for it. But yeah, I'll do a final video just to show all that stuff. And yeah, I'm not gonna film it, but it'll be a short one just going over what we didn't accomplish in this video. We've proved that it runs, so we're going in the right direction anyhow, and it pops off without ether, so that's even better, because when I took this machine in, no such luck. It was about 2-3 cans of ether just to get it to run on those broken pistons. She's got all the compression now and sounds incredibly healthy. I do appreciate you guys watching, and I do appreciate you watching this series if you did make it through the whole thing. If you're not subscribed, please consider it. It doesn't cost you anything, but it greatly helps me out. If you like the content, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. If you don't, go fuck yourself. And until the next one, you guys have a good one.